Good afternoon. Welcome to a webinar sponsored by the Nonprofit Partnership for Food Safety Education. It is about the exciting upcoming Consumer Food Safety Education Conference, which will be in Orlando in March. So let's get started. Welcome. The Partnership for Food Safety Education, if you're not familiar, we work to develop and promote effective education programs to reduce foodborne illness risk for consumers. We are a nonprofit, as I mentioned. We rely on grants and donations to function, and consumer education is our whole focus. We do not do work in policy and regulatory matters. I'm Shelley Feist. I'm the Executive Director of the Partnership for Food Safety Education, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you today. We're so glad you're here. We are definitely ready to talk about this terrific conference because it's been months in the making, and we have a great program that we're going to talk about today. We welcome you to pose questions at any time. You'll see on your panel there's a question function. There's also a chat function, but if you could use the questions function, that works great for us. And then after the webinar, you'll get a brief survey. We'd love you to fill that out because it helps us do a better job of delivering what you're interested in and addressing any concerns you have about the webinar. So please do that. There's a number of terrific supporters who have helped make possible this conference. We call them Backfighter Community Connectors, and you'll see them listed here. When you visit the conference website, you can view all of our conference supporters. So we thank them for making possible this event coming up in March. This conference is really for health and food safety educators who work in the field across government, industry, nonprofits. They're in public health, they're in cooperative extension. As you see from the quote, these are people who are really looking for this community. How do we change behavior? What is the research behind consumer behavior change in food safety? And that's really who comes to this. So it's a terrific place to work on the graft of behavior change and consumer education. We worked very hard to deliver great value for this conference, and our guest today is going to tell you more about what you can expect as far as the content. So we want to start off with a poll just to get you all engaged. And where are you this year? What's your primary career goal for this year? Are you working to improve your outreach, build your network, get some new program partnerships going, professional development, or do you get to plan your retirement this year? So take a minute to answer the poll, and we'll show the results in about a minute. Okay, have you taken the poll? If you haven't taken the poll, last chance. Okay, Michelle, maybe you want to show us the results. Oh, terrific. Nobody's retiring, but a lot of you are looking for professional development and to improve your outreach work, build your network. That's great. So thank you. Professional development, we will definitely address CEUs in the today's program. Trying to advance here, Michelle. Okay. Our special guest today is someone many of you may have heard about because she's been working in food safety and in the food industry. Hilary Thesmar is a board member of the Partnership for Food Safety Education. She is a past chair of the partnership's board. She is the current co-chair of this conference, a very experienced food safety professional. She's Senior Vice President of Food Safety at the Food Marketing Institute. She is a registered dietitian. She's a PhD food technologist, and she's a busy working mom, so she's juggling it all. And I'm so glad she's with us today to talk about the conference. Hillary.
Thank you, Shelley. So today I want to talk through 5 reasons to attend the conference. So it's coming up very quickly. It's in less than 2 months. And want to just give you some background about it and give you some reasons to kind of nudge you to attend the conference and give you some practical information about it. So we did a blog at FMI, and these were the reasons that we included in the blog. But first is to get updates on current research and new strategies for consumer intervention to help protect food safety. The second is network with collaborators. It's a really great way, and you'll see some examples of this, to network with your peers, whether you work kind of all by yourself out in the field or whether you have a strong network right by your side on a day-to-day basis. It's really a great way to expand that network. The next one is to deepen your professional skills, to earn continuing education units, and then the next one is finally is location, all about the location. So we'll tell you where it is and why you might want to get away in early March to a wonderful place. So next slide. So first of all, the current research and the strategies for consumer intervention, there's a lot of research going on consumer food safety education. So we really brought the top researchers. We also have wonderful ways to learn about what's going on in all research at all different levels, federal, at the academic institutions, and even just in the communities. So it really focuses on very, very specifically consumer food safety education. So really behavior change, food safety handling, hand hygiene, and the goal of this conference really is to provide very practical, real-time strategies to support you in your daily work. So it's not far out research priorities that are going to be relevant in 5 to 10 years. It really is that information that's being published now and that's relevant now that you can incorporate in your work on a daily basis. Next slide. So we have so many stories from the conference over the years, and this is not an annual conference. It's every couple of years, but we have so many great stories about collaborations and friendships that have come from this consumer education conference. And some of the really nice stories that we've heard, and they come after the fact, but we hear from people that, at early conferences, they met somebody, they met a collaborator, and they formed a lasting friendship, or they started a research project, and that they kept in touch over the years. And even if it's just through social media or email, or they share ideas, those are the things that are huge successes for the partnership, for the food safety community. So many food safety educators are out there on your own doing your work. So if you can collaborate with your peers, that's a huge success that you're able to share that information. Next slide. Deepening professional skills. This was the number one reason that you said in the poll that you wanted to accomplish this year. And the conference allows you to do that. It's actionable strategies. You can implement them now. It's the latest research that is being published, sometimes even pre-publication that you're hearing about it. It is what's going on right now in food safety from the people doing the work. Sometimes it's even students doing the work, graduate students. It's the top researchers, the top policymakers. You're going to meet them at the conference. So hopefully you'll consider that when you consider attending. You're going to get to see the data. There are so many ways to do this in very hands-on and interactive sessions. Next slide. Continuing education. Many of us have credentials or certifications that require continuing education, so we're very mindful that we want you to be able to easily access the continuing education credits, so we make it easy for you. Shelley and her team reach out to numerous organizations to have pre-approved continuing education units from accreditors. So hopefully your accreditation organization is included. For me, it's the you can tell I'm old, the American Dietetic Association. It's now the Academy of Nutrition Dietetics. IFT is included, Culinary Federation, Family and Consumer Sciences, just to highlight a few. But hopefully the organization that you need continuing education units from is listed there, and it will be easy for you to get those education units to maintain your certificates. And location is also a bonus. So many of us live in climates where early March is still kind of cold. So getting to sunny Florida on a Disney property is something all of us would welcome. So hopefully you'll be able to come to Orlando and join us in early March. I personally am going to be there all week, and then I'm going to have my husband fly down with my children for the weekend, and we're going to enjoy Disney over the weekend. So hopefully you'll be able to take advantage of that and enjoy the sunshine in Central Florida. So can't complain about that. So some of the program highlights, Ellie Krieger. Many of you might know who Ellie Krieger is. She is a very well-known dietitian. She is a cookbook author. She has a television show on public television called Ellie's Real Good Food. She's published multiple cookbooks and has been at the top of the New York Times bestseller list, recognized by the James Beard Foundation. And if you attend the Food Nutrition Conference and Expo with the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, you've probably seen her speak. She really incorporates food safety into her messages, and she's very mindful of the importance of food safety and healthy diets. So Ellie's going to be with us. She's a very dynamic speaker, so we're looking forward to having Ellie with us at the conference. The next speaker is our opening keynote, and that is Adam Glick. If you haven't heard of Adam, hopefully you have. He is on Bravo TV's Below Deck. He's a chef on a yacht. My children enjoy this show. It is a kind of an adventure type of show. He's very outdoorsy. He has a culinary background, but you can imagine the food safety challenges that come with being a chef on a yacht. So Adam will be joining us, and he is very young, very entrepreneurial in his approach to things, and he should be a fascinating speaker to hear at the conference. Next slide. So we usually hear from the federal agencies. This is always a highlight of the conference. We always want to hear what our partners in the federal agencies are doing. So we're going to hear from FDA, CDC, and USDA, and they'll share with us what they're up to in terms of policy and their food safety priorities for the coming years. And we have close relationships with all three agencies, and you'll get to interact with all of these individuals, leaders in our federal agencies. Next. So this session is going to be about at-risk people. So you can see we have some leaders here from organizations that represent our at-risk populations. So this will allow us to kind of go deeper into what those concerns are with our special populations, what their needs are, maybe some messaging ideas, how to reach them. So this will really be a great way, rather than just talking about, special considerations for, elderly or immune compromised. We'll actually get a chance to hear from the people that work with them directly. And then we're also going to talk more in depth about illness reporting. So this is something that's getting a lot of discussion in the industry because of the use of technology. So these people have particular expertise and interest in the use of technology when it comes to reporting illnesses. So you've probably heard about some of the technology uses available. You're aware of how public health is using alternate ways to report illnesses. So this is really going to be kind of a groundbreaking session to learn about some of the emerging ways that the public health community is sharing information about illnesses from consumers and then also amongst themselves. And then we also have a session, and this is going to be really interesting because it's quick talks and very challenging topics, but it's going to be very interactive. So we have 3 very high-level experts, but very well-versed on their issues, and they're going to give quick 5-minute talks, and it's going to be highly engaging for the audience with Q&A sessions. So we're really looking forward to this because it's a different format. It's not going to be your 30, 45-minute in-depth conversation. It's going to be really quick, high-level, very interactive. So this should be just fascinating to participate in. And Shelley, I'll turn it back to you to talk more about the venue and the hotel and some of the logistics.
Thanks, Hillary. Thank you very much for that overview of the conference. We have some great speakers, and it was fun to just take that all in at what's going to be on the program. I guess I wanted to come back and emphasize the Swan and Dolphin a little bit because obviously making a reservation there soon is important. We have a room block and a great rate, which you'll find on the website for the conference. But this resort, it's 20 minutes from the airport. It's very close to Disney World. There's a lot of amenities right at this resort. So I do want to emphasize, even if you don't go to Disney, go to the theme parks per se, the hotel is beautiful, has great pools for both adults and kids, paddle boats, award-winning restaurants in the property. I visited in September. It's a very nice place, even for adults without children, to just relax and be in the sun, and of course also to have everything right there at the property, which was great, and I look for that. So our early bird rates for this conference, first of all, our rates for this conference are very reasonable, but our early bird rates is especially reasonable, and it is in place until January 25th. That's why we wanted to make sure we had a chance to do a webinar for anyone who's thinking about coming. We have special rates for these different categories: government employees at all levels of government, university-based educators. We get a lot of cooperative extension folks at this. Nonprofits, we get a lot of people from food banks, Meals on Wheels, and then we have a student rate. So here are the rates and how they compare early bird versus regular rate. So it's definitely worth it for the government, education, nonprofit category to save a little bit of money and make your commitment by the 25th. The website for the conference is listed here. It's cfsec2019.fightback.org. And it's easy to find registration on the website. There's a tab for registration. We're offering some really great pre-cons too. So when you go to register, take a look at the pre-cons. I think we have 4. We have one on mechanically tenderized beef. We have one on evaluation, because that's something we know that our educators want and need support on. And this one is going to focus on developing surveys. And then we have a great tour to a local Publix has opened up one of their facilities down there, their dairy facility. So that's an opportunity you might really want to take advantage of. So again, here's the registration. As Hillary mentioned, one of the fantastic things about this conference is we get to collaborate with the USDA, the FDA, the CDC. This is a little difficult at this present week, but we've managed to get most of this conference work done, so we were ready to go before this government interruption of service. But that's where you'll find the conference website. Now, we love to have your questions. Many of you may not know a lot about the partnership or about the conference. So if you have any questions, please ask them now. Hillary will stick around. She's still on. She can answer questions, or I'll try to answer questions if they're about the partnership or about the conference. I do think a lot of people, here's a question about sort of maybe who attends, and we did cover that a little bit. To get more particular, I think, and Hillary might want to add something on this, what we're told is that this is a very unique mix of people, because it's not just, say, sanitarians or people in food safety who are doing regulatory work or inspection work. You end up getting a really great mix. People from public health, cooperative extension, sometimes classroom teachers, people doing research, people from industry. As you might imagine, there are definitely folks in industry who are like, wow, you know, we'd like to do more to communicate with our consumers, and I'd like our team to be informed. Peg asked if the slides will be available on the website. Yes. And we will also attach them to your post webinar email. You'll get an email, and we will attach it there. We definitely didn't want to keep you long today, but we did want to make sure you had a chance to hear a little bit more about the conference. So please, if you have questions, I'll continue to go through a few more slides to acknowledge some of our partners and things, and then I'll check again on questions. So the partnership has the great advantage of being supported for a long time by what we call our partners, and at the top tier of our ongoing partners who are really investing in consumer education and making sure that our materials are free, that our webinars are free. And if you follow us, you know we'll be doing webinars throughout the year on a lot of substantive topics. So these people make all that possible. Oh, thank you. And I want to say hello. Cody is with us from Publix. Publix is a terrific and engaged partner on food safety education. He's asking about number of attendees. We are planning for 400. So that is how many you should expect to see there, 400. As I mentioned, our partners, it's a long list. It's always been the leading trade associations and food industry associations, commodity groups, the professionals associations like AND, IAFP, and then Consumer Federation is a founding partner. So these are the people who are kind of behind the scenes making the conference, and all kinds of other programming things happen at the partnership. As I mentioned, there will be a survey that pops up, and we'd love you to respond to it and tell us anything you'd like to tell us. Including, do you think you'll come to the conference? Do you have any questions about the conference or about our work? So please answer the survey. It'll pop up right after this, and it literally is going to take you 30 seconds to take it. So we'd really appreciate you doing that. All right. Hillary, we thank you so much, not only for being with us today, but for your leadership in making this conference happen. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, and I hope to see everyone in March in Orlando. We're looking forward to it.
definitely hope to see you all. Oops. So please go to the website and check out more information. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for taking the survey and taking the time today to learn more about what's out there to support your work in consumer education. So goodbye, everybody.